Hello and welcome to episode 123 of the Beach Travel Wine Podcast. Today we are off to one of the most underrated and beautiful cities in Australia. Adelaide is the capital of South Australia. Now we are going to tell you all about what Adelaide is known for, including obviously the food and the wine, sport and music. We share some fascinating facts like how just outside of Adelaide is the largest safari experience outside Africa. And also, this was hilarious, this story about how the sky turned black in the middle of a sunny day. Babies were screaming in their mother's arms, and this was all in the surrounds of the stunning Botanic Gardens. Now, besides our fascinating stories, we give you some great hints and info about how to get to and around Adelaide and some must-see things while you're there. Now, if you'd like to see the pictures that go with this episode, because it is such a beautiful city full of beautiful gardens and flowers and trees, then click on the link to episode 123 in the podcast description on the player you are listening on now. So please enjoy episode 123. Good morning, Lyle. How are you today?
Good morning, Leonita.
Well, as I said in the intro, we are off to South Australia, the capital of South Australia called Adelaide.
Sure.
Yeah. Adelaide is a special place to you. You've been there many times. You had a very close friend who, passed away recently who lived there. And
Big Al.
yeah, this is probably my fourth trip and I really enjoy it too. And we feel like it's a very underrated city in Australia, and you'll see why when we carry on with the rest of the episode. But I guess for people that don't know much about Adelaide, or as I like to call it, Radelaide,
Oh.
there was another one, Adelaide. I thought that was good too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So where is it, and population and all that sort of stuff?
Okay. So it's the fifth most popular city in Australia. South Australia is 4 times the size of the UK, with only 2.66% of its population. So the UK has got 68,350,000 and South Australia has 1,820. Adelaide is situated on the Adelaide Plains, north of the Fleurieu Peninsula, between the Gulf of St Vincent in the west and the Mount Lofty Ranges in the east.
Can I just interrupt you there? South Australia have this ad campaign, and if you look at the map of Australia, South Australia is at the bottom in the middle, or south, obviously. But they've made the state shape look like a door, so it's like the door to Australia. It's really clever. So
and the other side of it too is it's
in the middle.
It's the Great Australian Bight. Is that particular area? Yeah, that's what it's known as. Its metropolitan area extends 20 kilometres or 12 miles from the coast to the foothills of the Mount Lofty Ranges. One of its nicknames is the 20-minute city.
And that's because it's 20 minutes from the mountains, 20 minutes from the closest wine region, and 20 minutes from the coast.
Pretty much, yeah. So, it only takes 20 minutes to get from the coast to the foothills. So, named in honour of Queen Adelaide, wife of King William IV, and he was the King of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland. The city was founded in 1836 as a planned capital for the only free settled British province in Australia.
And they like to say that every tour we went on, everyone likes to say we're the only state that didn't have convicts.
Yeah, sure. Now, there's a funny story that comes with this. There was a guy by the name of Edward Gibbon Wakefield.
Is this a quick story?
Reasonable.
Oh, good. Okay. I love a good
story.
Now,
he had read accounts of Australian settlement while in prison in London for attempting to abduct an heiress, and realised that the eastern colonies suffered from a lack of available labour. Due to the practice of giving land grants to all arrivals, Wakefield's idea was for the government to survey and sell the land at a rate that would maintain land values high enough to be unaffordable for labourers and journeymen. Funds raised from the sale of the land were to be used to bring out working class immigrants who have to work hard for the moneyed settlers, so people with money, to ever afford their own land. As a result of this policy, Adelaide does not share the convict history of other Australian cities. So his father was a well-known surveyor in London, so he obviously come from money. He got married. His first marriage was to Eliza, and she came with a dowry of £70,000, which in today's money would be $7 million, right? So, and anyway, she died after the second child, and he obviously thought, well, I need to get another heiress to marry. Anyway, so that's why he was in jail. But the marriage was never consummated, so he only got 3 years. So he was a bit of a cunning little fella.
That was close.
Sure. I never thought of it, but no. Yeah, he probably was. These views about the fact that he wanted to do the free settlement, these views were expressed in his letter from Sydney, 1829, published under a false name. So he's
written
right?
letters saying he's in Sydney.
Yeah, he's published while he was still in prison, but often quoted as if written on the spot. He had published pamphlets in prison in 1828 under the title Sketch of a Proposal for Colonising Australia, which had created a lot of interest. So basically, when he got out of jail, he obviously was a smart guy. He had got the connections. He ended up being in Parliament in both Canada and New Zealand. And so he was a bit of an entrepreneur. That was the word I was looking for. Now, just going more history. Colonel William Light, one of Adelaide's founding fathers, designed the city centre and chose its locations close to the River Torrens. Light's designs, now listed as National Heritage, set out the centre of the grid layout known as Light's vision, interspaced by wide boulevards and large public squares and entirely surrounded by parklands. Early colonial Adelaide was shaped by the diversity and wealth of its free settlers, in contrast to the conflict history of other Australian cities. Today, Adelaide is known by its many festivals and sporting events, its food and wine, its coastline and hills, its large defence and manufacturing sector, and its emerging space sector, including the Australian Space Agency. Adelaide's quality of life has ranked consistently high in various measures through the 21st century, at one stage being named Australia's most livable city, and at that time third in the world. Its aesthetic appeal has also been recognised by Architectural Digest, which is an American magazine, which ranked Adelaide as the most beautiful city in the world in 2024.
This year. Amazing.
Yeah, and the reason why I wanted to include all that is because when we describe the city, I think old Colonel Light deserves an enormous amount of praise, because the actual city is absolutely beautiful.
All right. Yeah. I want to get straight to where we stayed and where the things that were around us. Now, can we maybe say why we were in Adelaide this time? Well, that would sort of help give like a contrast. So we went to Adelaide because a few different reasons. As we said, we were originally going to see your friend Al, and he had passed away. But his wife, Kath, and his eldest son were insistent that we still come and see them. And we were going this week because the Velo 500 was on in Adelaide, and Lyle's godson is a Porsche Carrera Cup driver, and it was the last race meeting of the season, and he won the Australian Championship, so we were going to see him. And the after race entertainment was Cold Chisel, who is my absolute favourite, and so all these things were lining up. And we wanted to get some podcast information and go to the wine regions. And South Australia is the wine capital of Australia.
Basically, yeah.
Or Adelaide, really. It's got lots of wine regions. Now, we're going to tell you about wine regions in other podcasts, but so they're just some of the reasons. And we love Adelaide. We love going there. It's a really easy city to walk around. It's really pretty. Where we stayed was in North Adelaide, and in a lovely Airbnb that our friends own. We were very close to the city. It's only a 20-minute walk, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, 3.3K.
Oh, okay. Well, that's...
30 minutes, but that's,
I'm not allowed to say we got lots of steps up, but we did.
Yeah, we did. Well, we walked everywhere. So, we did that. And as we stopped outside...
We had agapanthus to the left of us, roses to the right, and stuck in the middle with a big bush of rosemary. And this is
I see where you're coming from.
And this is just like a garden on the side of the road. It's not the garden that goes with our accommodation.
No, it's a nature strip. It's looked after by the council.
The most stunning roses, and you don't have a very good sense of smell, but you could smell the scent of these roses, and they were just beautiful. Like, and we were there when the jacarandas were flowering, and oh my gosh, just so pretty walking around the streets of Adelaide. So different to where we live as well, yeah.
Yeah,
And so we would often take two different ways into the city. So we take people on a bit of a walk down to the city.
Sure. So if you turn left, all you see are these beautiful Edwardian and Victorian terrace houses. They're all labelled.
Yeah, and once again,
with exquisite gardens.
beachtravelwine.com, go to episode 123 Adelaide, and in the podcast player you're listening on now, in the description there'll be a link straight to that where I've got photos of everything we're talking about today, and there's some really spectacular stuff. If you don't know anything about Adelaide, if you're an overseas listener, or if you're Australian that hasn't been, or you haven't been for a while, go and check out that link, and so you'll see the photos. I took some beautiful ones of the houses. So yeah, you walk along the street, they've got the little wrought iron
fences.
Yeah, fences, but also decoration on the little verandas, and they've got gorgeous little gardens out the front as well. It's just so pretty.
So it's no more than about 200 metres, and then you hit O'Connell Street, which is the main street, you would say, of North Adelaide, and that's just basically full of cafes, restaurants, beautiful old pubs. And one of our favourites was the Royal Oak, and that was mainly an entertainment pub. It did sell food, but you go in there and it's just is the word quirky, okay? Yeah, that's the word.
Or eclectic, I think was the one you were looking at.
That was the word I was thinking.
So it's probably 3 full blocks of restaurants, bars, and cafes and bakeries, and some of our favourites, as you said, was the Royal Oak Hotel.
And then there was the bakery on O'Connell, and we got a sandwich there that we had to cut in half because it was just too big. We went out to dinner at Moonsoon
That
Asian
was
restaurant.
Amazing, yeah.
Cheap as chips. I think we had 3 glasses of wine, and we shared an entree and 2 mains, and it was $124, and the food was exquisite.
There's a little shopping centre there, and a bottle shop as well. So if you're staying in that area, you can stock up on your bits and pieces. But as you keep walking,
keep walking, and the street parallel to O'Connell Street is, I'll spell this, Lefeure. How would you say that? Lefeure Terrace. Now,
and I particularly wanted to go up to this street because it has some of the biggest Victorian Edwardian sort of houses, does it? Like double story. And the other thing is these houses, these older buildings, they have little oval plaques on the fences, and they tell you what its historic value is. And yes, they're really interesting, aren't they?
Yeah, and basically who built it, and
when it was
in
built.
that particular street. I'm pretty sure the guy that did most of the developing was a pharmacist.
Okay.
And anyway, the buildings, as you said, were pretty much either...
They'd been mansions.
Back in the day, there'd be mansions, and they would have been owned by politicians and the founders of Adelaide.
But once again, the streets are lined with jacarandas and roses, and you walk a couple more blocks and you come to a park area where we crossed over, but like the rose, every colour rose, and I particularly like the soft salmon pink ones, but this park was full of beautiful red ones.
And that was in that particular park is Brougham Gardens, and that's in Brougham Place, and also lined the streets were the jacarandas. And they were just, it was just beautiful. And then we headed down to...
We go down past the Cathedral Hotel.
Correct.
And then you go past and Adelaide's also, you said it was called the 20-minute city. It's also called the City of Churches. And you go past the biggest church in Adelaide, which is St. Peter's Cathedral there, don't you?
Yeah.
And it's pretty stunning. I've got a couple of really nice photos of that. But that is like a stone's throw from Adelaide Oval.
Yeah, and Adelaide Oval is just, it's iconic, seriously iconic.
Yeah, well, it was refurbished in 2015. They spent a lot of money on it. And now the capacity is about 53,500.
Yeah, look, it's basically probably recognised as, if not the most beautiful cricket ground in the world. oval, or it's in the top 3 anyway. It's
And
just
the
beautiful.
good thing about it is it has a bridge, a pedestrian-only bridge that connects the city to the oval, so it's that close.
Yeah, that's
and,
correct.
And obviously, if people going down to stay, it's really easy to get. You don't have to park or any of that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
and it's also the main venue for AFL, which is Australian football.
Yep.
And that does huge. It's also got the museum for Don Bradman. Now, Don Bradman is recognised as Australia's greatest batsman.
Yep.
And he averaged 99.94 in his Test career. But on his last Test, he went out for a duck. So he really should have had 100 runs average. Yeah.
Yeah. So we walked down past these gardens, the cathedral, the oval, and we crossed the River Torrens.
Correct.
And it's not a big river by any stretch of the imagination, but you can go down onto the edge of the river. And there's lots of bike paths and walking tracks as well along the river, and beautiful gardens again. But we had a nice little spot right next to one of the bridges, and from where we sat, you could watch the old Popeye boat, which does a cruise up and down the River Torrens, and you can look over you can see the lights of the Adelaide Oval, and we had a lovely coffee there right on the banks of the River Torrens, didn't we?
Yeah, and after the coffee, we headed towards the city, and towards From Street, and that is where the Adelaide University is.
Okay,
and that was actually
they're beautiful,
beautiful
trees,
buildings,
tree-lined streets though too, like massive and beautiful shady streets.
Yeah, and the Adelaide University that was established in 1874, and seriously, it was really nice. And then we got to North Terrace. And we found the main entrance to the Adelaide Botanic Garden.
Now, just when you say North Terrace, one of the wine tour guides told us it's pretty hard to get lost in Adelaide City because it's basically bound by North Terrace, South Terrace, East and West Terrace. Right?
Correct.
Yeah, so
Correct.
It's like a big rectangle. And
Correct.
North Terrace is probably the best known one, I think. And that's where we found ourselves and where the entrance to the Botanic Gardens is.
And the Botanic Gardens, we actually went in. We were recommended to go to the because there was a.
Well, I love Botanic Gardens anyway. I don't have to be recommended. I'm going to go because I love green spaces in the city. But it's also where the National Wine Centre is, which we'll talk about in a minute. But yes, we were recommended to go because there was an art exhibition there, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was.
And it's Chihuly. Who is who is a controversial artist, apparently.
Really? Was
it? Yeah. I was reading information on him, but it's got I think there was 15 huge glass sculptures throughout the gardens, and they're placed. Some of them are actually sitting in the lake. Some of them are up a tree. Some of them are in like the lily pond. Some of them are just down the main part where we were having lunch. There was a big one right at the end of that. Some of them stuck out of bits of wood. They were impressive.
It was incredibly impressive.
It was incredible. And I'm going to have, by the time this comes out, go and have a look at Beach Travel Wine on Instagram and check out some of the reels that I've got to go up about with all those the beautiful glass sculptures. And it's free to get in to the Botanic Gardens.
During the day.
And the Botanic Gardens also has a few other pretty special things. But if you wanted, they do a night show with this.
Yeah, and I think it's $20 entry, and but that includes some food and also a guided tour.
Yeah,
and I reckon we basically was so busy we never got back to it at night. I would have liked to. Because honestly, some of the sculptures, as you said, were going right up the trees, and they were really substantial
but
sculptures.
Beautiful too.
Oh yeah, it was really nice.
It's like they vary from big, round, bright, coloured glass sort of ball shapes, and some of them were decorated to almost like pin cushions, and then there was all the some great big blue glass blocks almost sitting out of the water. Yeah, it's spectacular. And yeah, certainly, we love that. And while we were in the Botanic Gardens, we also decided we would have some lunch.
Yep, we did.
And the area at the Botanic Gardens, they have like a cafe restaurant there. They also have a kiosk, but also a a little garden shop, a little nursery where you can buy plants. There's a tourist information centre there as well. Lots of clean toilets as well, and a lovely big deck area with tables that people are just enjoying the shady area there to have some lunch. And they also had a piano player while we were there singing
Yeah,
songs.
well, it was so peaceful.
It was beautiful until
Okay.
because we were there on a day that the Velo 500 was on. Part of that was they did a flyover with those jets, wasn't it?
Yeah, the 18F, FAI 18F Super Hornet and the legendary Roulette
acrobatics team. And I'm going to have a reel of that as well. I found some video of that acrobatics team, which was incredible.
Well, we saw them twice. One at the.
But you hear them before you see them, if that makes sense.
So loud.
And the first time, actually, we weren't at the gardens when this was like the day before.
We were sitting at a pub.
We were sitting at a pub having a cold drink, and you just get that crack of the sound barrier being broken, I think it is. And there's a poor young girl. She literally...
I thought she, as you said, almost fell off the chair.
Yeah, and
I was wetting myself.
We were all laughing at her. But so this happened again when we were in the gardens having a nice peaceful lunch. The jet flew over and just made that huge cracking sound. And there were babies crying. There were mums picking up their toddlers who were terrified.
I don't think it was everybody's cup of tea, but I'm not sure how else they could do it.
And it was just, but what happened was the massive big trees that were surrounding the courtyard area that we were in was full of bats. All those bats took to the sky. It was like a
horror movie.
Yeah, really. And the sky turned black. So you got the cracking of the jets, the noise, you got the babies screaming, and you've got mums trying to settle them down. You got the poor guy over there trying to play the piano, and these bats flying around in the sky.
But that's exactly what happened. We were sitting back, we're just so peaceful, and Len, I was saying to Len, geez, this bloke's not bad. Like, he was very good singing. He was great, and all of a sudden, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was great. But I've got some fabulous photos. As I said, Beach Travel Wine, go and have a look, episode 123. So
then once we left there,
yes,
Catherine had spoken to us about the National Wine Centre.
And because we're Beach Travel Wine and we're there to do some wine podcasts, I thought we might go and get some information, brochures and stuff about some of the wine regions where we would go to. It's not that sort of place. It's more of what would you say, history of wine, would you say?
Visitors can learn about the history of Australian wine, the production process and the different wine regions in Australia. Taste over 120 wines from over 55 of Australia's 65 wine regions in the tasting room.
And they've got a big tasting room there.
It's like a huge cellar. But it's more, they use it more now. Apparently, it was a bit of a white elephant. They use it for conferences and that sort of thing. But the building itself is really impressive. It's like the interior of and the exterior of a wine barrel. They've also got
big high ceilings and
it was absolutely beautiful, really.
Yeah.
And they've also got those machines where you
wine tasting, so you can choose your own.
Yeah, so you go and you get a card,
a vending machine.
It's like a vending machine. You get a card, you put the card in. You can either have a taste, or you can have a small glass, or a regular glass, or a large glass, and then that goes on the card automatically. So,
or there are people there to do the wine tasting if you prefer that as well. But that's right in the corner. Right up in the top corner of the Botanic Gardens, so it's easy to find. But also next to the Botanic Gardens is the Adelaide Zoo.
Yep.
Yeah. So we didn't go to the zoo. You've been to it, and it's famous because it has giant pandas. It has a breeding.
They've got obviously some sort of agreement with the Chinese government, and because the giant pandas have been there basically forever, but obviously they're not the same pandas.
Yeah.
Now, there's Xing Chu and there's Yi Lan. That's the two. Now, it's home to more than 2,400 animals and 200 species. I have been there. It is a nice.
But it's easy to get to. It's not like some of the zoos. It's the way out of the city, so you can easily walk to the the zoo.
Well,
But
I'm talking about out of the city and...
yes, I was just going to say, but, you discovered something.
Yeah, I didn't realise until I was looking up the stuff on the Adelaide Zoo, but there's also the Monarto Safari Park. Is now the largest safari experience outside Africa.
So just say that again. It's the largest safari experience outside Africa. That's pretty cool.
Scanning more than 1,500 hectares and home to more than 50 species of exotic and native animals, birds and reptiles. The park is located 60 minutes from Adelaide. So although, I mean, if you're interested in that thing, I reckon that'd be unbelievable.
Yeah.
To go and see that. And what you do is you just got to get on a bus and with a tour guide, and the buses are open like a safari.
Yeah.
And it's got one of the biggest lion prides outside of Africa.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, so
I didn't know that.
That'd be worth going to see.
Yeah. Now, one of the other, we've sort of taken you, I think I got off a track a little bit there, but one of the other ways we walked down the street wasn't through O'Connell Street and past the cathedral. We did go back down past the Oval, but then we walked up past the exhibition centre, didn't we?
Yep.
So we've been to Adelaide for a couple of live shows.
Yeah, we've been to, I think it's the Festival Theatre, and we went and saw your favourite,
the Rocky Horror Show.
The Rocky Horror Show.
We met some friends there. And you've been to see Rod Stewart in Adelaide?
Yeah, that's the entertainment centre. Yeah. We went and I met my brother and Bronnie, his sister-in-law, to go and see Rod Stewart, and they live in Perth, and we live in Brisbane, and it was, in the middle, so we went and saw him.
It has the Fringe Festival.
Huge. Yeah. Absolutely huge. It's sort of up
and
there.
Lyle was saying, I looked at all the names of the artists. He said, I didn't know any of them. I'm like, yeah, because it's a Fringe festival. Yeah. It's not the mainstream artist.
And it lasts for a month. Yeah. It's up there with the Glasgow Comedy Festival and all that sort of stuff.
We were there. They had the dumpling. I can't remember what it was called, but right on the River Torrens near the exhibition centre, they had this big dumpling market, it was called, and it lit up at night, and that's only they'd had that for a few weeks, but they've always got something going on.
With all the colourful
lanterns.
Asians lanterns. Yeah, it was impressive.
Yeah, and so they've always got something going on there on the river as well. Because I remember last time we could walk through there, and they had big umbrellas and things that you could sit there on the river. It was so lots of stuff happening there,
and just not far from the Festival Theatre, you've also got the casino, Adelaide Casino. And they've also
that's at the railway station.
Yeah, and beautiful old railway station. It's the only railway station sort of in Adelaide Central.
But you don't need the railway that much because they've got the tram. That's what Adelaide's known for, right?
The free tram.
Yeah.
In the CBD, there actually is free tram and bus services.
Yeah, like a shuttle service to get you around.
Yeah. Okay, now, as we said, you can actually go from the CBD to Glenelg, which is probably Adelaide's trendiest
beachside
suburb.
Yeah.
And we've been there
a few times.
Every time we go.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of favourite restaurants there.
Sammy's,
which is Big Al has taken me there several times. I've been there
and you
again.
can sit there and the dolphins are swimming around.
Yeah, and you were there that day. Yeah. We went there, and it's famous for its seafood. It's Coffin Bay oysters. And also they do amazing King George whiting, which is one of my favourite fishes. It's very delicate, and small fish.
We went there at night, like Alan, your friend's son, AJ, he took us out for dinner.
This trip.
Yeah, this trip. And I was looking around because it was nighttime, but all these trendy little restaurants with people sitting out the front with the umbrellas up. It's a really upmarket little area, isn't it?
Look, I've probably been going there for 40 years, and the change has been incredible, but I've got to say the food in Glenelg and around that area, maybe because of the Italian and the Greek influences, and because they were fishermen and that sort of thing back in the day, the food and wine has always been excellent, always. Now, and so what was the restaurant AJ took us to?
Olivetti's.
Olivetti, yep. And
it was Italian. It was lovely.
And what wine did you
have? Had it. Well, I've gone, I hate to say it, but my favourite was Sharon Smith Sauv Blanc. I think it's now Sharon Smith Riesling. It was really nice, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, you can't go down that track because we're going to do another podcast about the wineries.
The wineries,
But we had a fabulous dinner, And
And
AJ, thanks, mate. I really appreciate it.
And-
AJ shouldn't have, but he paid for the whole lot, and he was just fabulous.
So back to Adelaide, we're back in the city. They've got a mall there that's well known too, and it's got art sculptures in the middle of it. They've got some bronze pigs, and it's got great big silver round balls sitting on top of each other, and that's in Rundle Street Mall, remember?
Yep.
Yeah, and we've been there. I actually find the shopping in Adelaide really good as well. Every time we've gone, we've bought shoes.
Yeah.
I didn't get any this time, you did, but like the last couple of times I've found some really nice shoes there. I don't know what it is, but I love I guess it's not that busy. It's just really nice to wander around. And one of the things Lyle likes about Adelaide are the old pubs, the old Federation style double-story pubs that seem to be on every corner. There were a few that weren't open this time, but the couple we went into are just lovely. Like the beautiful wooden bars and things in them. It's stunning.
Well, there was a pub called the Wellington pub, and that was
that's in North Adelaide.
Yeah, and that's basically that faces Wellington Square Gardens, and that's beautiful gardens again.
Yeah, gardens.
Gardens. There's actually 29 gardens in Adelaide. So we went there for dinner twice. We went to and I remember Leanne
one night it was fantastic, the other night it was dreadful.
Yeah, a bit of a sad, but I'm not sure why it was. But the first night, Leanne had the lamb pie with rosemary, and it was absolutely spectacular. I was starving, so I got stuck into a big chicken parmigiana. But their wine list was great, and the staff, probably the friendliest staff I've ever come across.
One of the things also that to mention about Adelaide is it doesn't have extreme prices like some capital cities.
No. As I said,
the meals and the wine.
It's always been the same. It's always been that $10,
bit cheaper.
$10 a serve meal cheaper than say Melbourne or Brisbane or Sydney.
Now, Lyle said a minute ago there's 29 gardens. What he was stealing my thunder. You did, because I had this fact to put at the end, but seeing you've brought that up, I'm going to chuck it in here now. There are more than 760 hectares of parklands that ring the city and North Adelaide, and that includes 29 parks. So just think about that. The city and North Adelaide, 760 hectares ring it. Yeah.
And they are so well looked after.
Beautiful.
It is absolutely stunning. And I take my hat off to old Colonel William Light.
Yeah.
Because he was the guy to design it all.
But also the local council.
Because they've kept it up.
Yeah.
But the gardens are just, you can't believe how beautiful they are.
Sure.
And they're everywhere.
Everywhere. All right, let's move on to another reason we were there was to go to the Velo 500. Yes?
Yes.
Now, this is it's the last race meeting on the supercars calendar in Australia. This is probably one of the most famous ones. It used to be where the F track was.
Yep, so it's the same track.
It's a street track. And I just found this incredible. You basically opposite the entrance to the Botanic Gardens, you walk half a block and there's the entrance into the racetrack. Now, how many racetracks?
And that's the East Parklands.
Right, the Parklands. So how many racetracks are where you walk in, where you've got this beautiful pond with a fountain and the jacaranda trees over there and the roses? It's just so pretty. I'm like, is this like a racetrack? And so we went there, as I said, to see Lyle's godson Harry race, and we went on 2 days. And we had and the racetrack, it's easy to get around. There's lots of shade. We found a great spot to watch the race. We sussed out where the after entertainment was for the next day. And it was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, it is. It's.
I love the utes. We walked in and there's these utes going up over
V8 utes.
Jump, and then there's the ones that go over on two wheels. And I mean, we're not really into the supercars, but we did watch the end of the last race.
Well, we might be in the supercars soon.
We might, yes.
We're a little bit biased in relation to the Carrera Cup Championship.
So we got to see Harry, we got to see him race, we got to see his family.
We got to see him have a smash.
Yeah, that
was dreadful.
That was dreadful.
That was, and he was put in a position where he He had nowhere to go, but anyway, he was uninjured.
But can I tell you something before? Like, I just remembered this. And I'm giving Lyle the wind up because I want to keep moving along. But we were trying to get from North Adelaide down to the entrance of the Velo 500 the first day. And I'm looking at a map, and this lovely old lady says, "Can I help you?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, we're trying to get here." And she's given us some information, and she said, "You know what? If you just hop on the bus or ask the bus driver, they'll be able to help you." And so we walked a bit further, and Lyle spots this bus pull up at a bus stop, and like he was like Usain Bolt. He took off, and he'd knocked on the door. I think the bus was about to take off. You've knocked on the door, and he's gone, "Hey, mate." He didn't say this, but he implied, "We're just dumb Queenslanders. We're trying to get to the Velo 500. Where do we go?" And this really nice bus driver said, "Hop on." So, and
I can't get you right there, he said, but I'll get you close.
And so we're just sitting there, and all of a sudden the bus stops, does a few different stops, then it stops and he says, "Here you go, hop off here." And we were maybe 200 metres from the entrance. He said, "Just follow the crowd."
Yeah, but he actually got out of the driver's seat when he told us.
Got out of the bus.
He got out of the bus to show us where the entrance was.
Yeah.
Like, it was just...
The people in Adelaide are so friendly. Like, so helpful.
Yeah, like it knocks your socks off on how friendly they are.
Yes. So we made it to the track that day.
I was just a dumb Queenslander.
And then on the Sunday, which is when Cold Chisel were playing, and if you're an overseas listener, please go and check out Cold Chisel. They're Australian rock icons. And I was just so excited because they've been doing a tour, and everybody, all my friends, they've all been, I've been to Cold Chisel, and I'm just like, oh, my turn will come. And it was just brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But there were 3 bands before Cold Chisel, and we paid extra money to get up into the front area because you can imagine, like, everyone from the supercars is all there. There was a young Adelaide band, and we didn't Tonic, I think they were Tonic, and this young guy, he was just so excited. He said, "We play in front of 5 or 10 people. We just can't believe we're here in front of this crowd. Thank you, Cold Chisel." And
he was so grateful.
And the crowd just really supported them and cheered them on.
Yeah, responded.
Yeah, they did. And then we saw the Super Jesus.
Yep, and she was brilliant.
Well, the band, she was so good, and I'd never seen them live like that. And they were pumping up the crowd. And then I was a bit skeptical about the Cruel Sea because Lyle, the lead singer Tex Perkins, is a bit of a goose, but he's a good goose. He's a funny goose, and he's got
brilliant.
He's got such a dry sense of humour. But the musicians in this band, they look like your grandfather, but I reckon they sound like the Eagles. There was something about their music.
Their musicians. Well, originally they were just an instrumental band.
And then Tex comes along and puts his drawl on it, and his lyrics, which is sometimes hilarious.
Yeah, he's very funny.
But that was fabulous. And then the thing about Cold Chisel, they say they're going to start at 8:30. They were there at 8:30, and they went for 2 solid hours. It was amazing. It was.
Seeing we got to the concert area at 3:30 in the afternoon. They come on at 8:30. Yeah, it was good that they were on time.
It was a long day, but then we had to find our way home. And anyway, I called an Uber. We got there.
Yeah. So that was the Sunday night entertainment.
It was
on the Saturday.
They had Crowded House,
which for probably our international audience, you probably know who they were.
Yeah,
like they're a huge band, and they're out of New Zealand, but they were great.
This is an event that happens every year that Adelaide's well known for. Is the Velo 500?
Sure.
Adelaide is a huge sporting city.
Do you know why else other bands that Adelaide's well known for?
Glen Shorrock and Little River Band.
Yes, Little River Band. Yeah, Glen Shorrock and
the Angels.
Yes.
AC/DC.
AC/DC, the biggest band in the world that sell concert tickets. I don't know whether they still are now, but they were at one stage the biggest band in the world. So AC/DC. And there was another group very early called the Easy Beats. Okay. And that was huge.
And the Super Jesus, they're from Adelaide as well, the ones that we watched.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. So Adelaide's really quite well known for rock and roll bands, and most of them from Scotland.
Yeah, and as I was saying, the sporting side of it, because they also, that you talked about the Adelaide Oval. We've got friends that go from Melbourne to Adelaide to watch the AFL. It's the cricket oval there. And once we've been there, and they had the Santos, which is like a cycling event that finishes in Adelaide as well. So, and they've got lots of golf courses. Some of the golf courses are really stepping up and known across Australia anyway as a great destination for golfers as well.
And nothing's too far.
No, nothing's too far.
Nothing's too far.
Now, have you got anything else you want to tell us about Adelaide?
I probably do, which will lead into the next podcast. The other reason we went there was for the wineries.
Yes.
And the wineries that we went to.
The wineries or the wine regions? Let's do the wine regions.
Wine regions, yeah.
Yeah.
So the three main ones we went to,
because these are the closest to Adelaide.
Adelaide Hills.
Yep.
That's 31 kilometres or 47 minutes. We've got Barossa Valley.
Now it's world famous. Barossa Valley Shiraz is known all over the world.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the Grange.
Yep.
Is their famous red wine. That's only 70 kilometres away, and we also our private transport. AJ. He took us we had a lovely day in McLaren Vale, which is only 40 kilometres away.
So we're going to do a podcast on each of those because we went to at least 4 wineries. We got all sorts of information. We did go with a friend one day, but we have another way if you don't want to do a wine tour. Got lots of information about visiting those wineries and the different wine varieties, and it was just amazing, like fabulous. But Adelaide itself, certainly worth a visit. Like if you want a weekend away, a city escape, Adelaide's got it all.
Yeah. Now it is an international airport.
Oh yeah.
And the airport's like 6K from the city. From the CBD, so you don't have to drive far to get catch a taxi.
We don't need a car if you don't want to hire a car. As I said, we're going to give you some options to go to wineries.
Yeah.
And you can walk around the city. If you're staying in the city, everything's there. It'd be a great option to stay in the city. They've got lots of. We were talking to someone at the airport. The wine bars and the restaurants that are coming to their own in Adelaide now too. Like it's a great spot for a weekend getaway. Now, did you know? I've got some facts for you.
Go for it.
Adelaide is a UNESCO City of Music since 2015 and is the first and only in Australia.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, you cheeky girl.
Yeah.
Research.
Yeah.
Clean.
I know. But they're talking about all that music.
Yeah.
And they have all that Fringe Fest and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. That's been recognised as a UNESCO City.
I didn't know that. But when you
music.
sort of put it all together, you think, well, yeah, of course you would.
It's also, I did say about the parklands. It's also what they call one of the great wine capitals of the world with 18 distinctive wine regions. And it produces more than half of all Australian wine.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why we're going to go to the wineries.
Yeah.
And my last one is it's opal city. Did you know that? Adelaide's known, South Australia is known for opals.
Like, yeah, I know. I can't think of the name of it. But
95% of the world's supply of opals come from Australia, whereas 80% come from Adelaide. From South Australia, sorry.
From South Australia, I was going to say. And what's the name of the...
Cooper Pedy.
Cooper Pedy, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
So it's famous for opal. So, yeah, there we go. That was my little addition.
Well, probably Adelaide. The only thing I can think of to add to that, which we didn't go to this time, but I have been there, is Kangaroo Island.
Yeah.
Now, Kangaroo Island, it's a huge tourist destination. It's an island just off the coast of Adelaide. It's not, you can catch a ferry.
We've only touched on things that we've been to and that we're interested in, and there is a whole lot more to it, and we certainly highly recommend it, wouldn't you?
Sure, and yeah.
Oh, and just where we were in North Adelaide too, we forgot to mention the cafe, the Flying Fig.
Oh yeah, across the road.
Yeah, like honestly, so you walk out and you've got your agapanthus, you've got your rosemary bush, you've got the beautiful roses, you've got the jacarandas, you've got the pretty houses across the street, and then you cross the road and you're at this amazing little cafe called the Flying Fig, which has superb coffee and had the most amazing granola I've ever had. In fact, Kathy came one day with us, Catherine, and she said, "Oh, it hasn't been that good lately. It got new owners," and she was amazed at it as well.
Anyway, I just think Adelaide's very underrated.
Yep.
I've always loved it, and I'll be going back.
Sure.
And
definitely.
Fabulous.
Now, where was your favourite place to have a wine in Adelaide?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm probably going to go Monsoon because the food was spectacular.
Well, we had some nice Rieslings there too, didn't we?
Yeah, it was really good.
We had some Clare Valley there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice. Okay, Monsoon. That's a really nice restaurant there in O'Connell Street. Okay, wine. Did we have a wine at Cold Chisel?
No, we didn't even have a drink because we didn't want to lose that
Okay,
spot.
so my favourite place to have a wine was when we got home from Cold Chisel. We finally got an Uber. And you know what? If you're at any other major event like that in any other capital city in Australia, you would never have got an Uber home.
Yeah,
We did wait 15 minutes and did cost us $48 to go 5 kilometres. However,
we didn't care.
We didn't care. We'd done our steps. But when we got home, we had a lovely voynier. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Yep. And we were just buzzing from the concert and our day and Adelaide and the whole thing. And so we sat up ridiculously late drinking this wine, and I thought that was a lot of fun.
Probably just to add, everywhere you go in Adelaide, the wine lists are unbelievably extensive, and the quality, seriously, it's ridiculous how good it is.
Okay, so if you want to see the pictures of the Botanic Gardens, of Harry Loz racing godson of Jimmy Barnes, the houses, the church, the River Torrens, the Adelaide Oval, all the stuff. It's all there. If you go on the play you're listening on now, if you've listened this far, thank you. Go to the description on the play you're listening on, click on that link, or go and check out the videos and the photos on Beach Travel Wine at Instagram, and go up the top there's story highlights and it will say Adelaide. So you won't be sorry, will they?
No, they won't be sorry. So thanks again, Catherine and AJ. It was spectacular. We really appreciate it.
All right. Well, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from her.